Hey, it's Friday afternoon, so that means it's time to get ready to go racing this weekend. We have District 37 Training Wheels Enduro coming up, and that's out at Red Mountain, so it should be a pretty good event. Those guys, they really know how to put on a good old school timekeeper. This weekend I'm going to race the 2012 450 XCW. I've been working on it all through the week, kind of getting all my timekeeping gear on there. So I pretty much got it set to go. It seems like a lot of stuff, but if you want to win a good old school timekeeper enduro, you got to have your watch, your ICO, your route chart, thumb switch, and then we're going to write some cheat sheets just to go right inside the handguards there a little later after I kind of figure out some of the resets on the route sheet. Last week we did the SoCal National Hair in Hand, and I really kind of wanted to ride this bike, but we got out testing and I just thought the forks were too soft for it really to be safe at those kinds of speeds. I've put a little oil in it, so give a little more bottoming resistance. I think it's going to be fine for the enduro. I'm actually pretty excited so far. I really enjoy riding this bike. And I have to say, if it's got one overriding quality, it's that it feels like just the mellowest, nicest trail bike, and that yet turn the throttle and all of a sudden it feels like a full race bike. Super versatile. And that's quite a bit different than, say, the 350 XCF we had earlier, which I loved because the harder you rode it, the better it worked. But it was a little dull. Didn't have a lot of personality as a pure trail bike. So that meant that last week I pulled out the 07 450 XC, kind of took it our mothballs for race day, and man, I hadn't had this thing out to race in almost a year, so had to clean the carb, clean that pilot jet. I hear this all the time. Hey, my bike ran great when I put away, but now I start up and it doesn't want to idle. It kind of pops and sputters and runs kind of rough. That's a clogged pilot jet. In fact, that's what keeps most dirt bike dealerships in business, I think, is cleaning carburetors these days. It's an easy fix to do at home. You definitely got to learn how to do it. This was the first race since we put the cam in this bike, and it was good. Man, the motor on this thing is still, I love the motor. There's just no getting around it. Javier Trail Trucks put a 400 cam in this bike, and basically what it did was it has a huge mid-range punch. Not necessarily a lot of over rev, not really like a motocross feel, but it just accelerates so hard out of the mid-range. And some of those like gnarly uphill climbs and stuff, it worked really well. Because again, this is kind of a big bike. It doesn't spin the wheel easy. It doesn't wheelie. It just powers up the hills. Another thing was, I'd been riding most of the year without my Recluse clutch because we never set it up in the 350. And this race last weekend was 100 miles. It was really a long day. I got dehydrated. I was just absolutely done before I started the third loop. And late in the day, it was so nice to have that clutch. I realized how much I'd missed it not riding without it. Other than that, things on the bike were pretty good. Man, there's no doubt this thing, compared to the newer generation bikes, at times it just kind of feels like a bull in China shop. The forks are good, the brakes are good, but it's just a lot of bike to get stopped. My timing was off a little bit early in the race, but the one thing is, boy, there's just, the shock on this just does not compare to the new linkage bike going across the desert at speed. But other than that, I'd say about 70% of the time I was probably going just as fast as I would on any other contemporary bikes, so I had a good day on it, and like I said, there's still some of those motor qualities I love. What else? Oh, so one of the things, hey, check this out. $50. That's Kenda Cash from the National Hare and Hound series. Apparently, even though I didn't have an awesome day, I was one of the top 3 riders to finish on Kenda tires. So they give me a $50 bill right there at the end of the race. Pretty cool. I ran the Parker in the rear and a Washougal in the front. I kind of go back and forth. Both the Parker and the Washougals both work really good in the desert. This one you can see I've taken apart. At the end of the day, I knew I was getting a flat tire. And got home, pulled it apart. Sure enough, I got a little pinhole in there, and that is a Bridgestone Ultra Heavy Duty tube, which means it has to go in the garbage. You cannot, I don't know if you know this, but you can't patch those Bridgestones. Once they get a hole in them, they're done. So other than that, I've got that all set up and ready to go. I probably won't even ride it this weekend, but I'll take it with me for fun. Yeah, that's it. So get loaded up, go out tomorrow, play around a little bit, get some riding in, and hopefully we'll have a good enduro. You know, the enduros for me are just, they're kind of one of my favorite things to do because I'm pretty good at timekeeping. I'm pretty good at riding fast in short sections, particularly really technical desert. And we have a kind of ride where we don't have to worry about doing the big bomb run start, super high speeds, and it's just a format that typically allows me to do really well and run with some guys who are normally a little faster than I am. So I have high hopes. In fact, I'm leading the Vet A class, so good ride tomorrow, and maybe I can get that thing sewn up. So there we go, signing out from the Enduro 360 garage. Hey, by the way, somebody needs to volunteer to come over and clean this mess up. Thanks for watching.